Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and persons in between. My name is Tim Snowborn, and today we're talking about religious versus secular morality on this month's episode of Serious Issues. So this is a topic that, like right livelihood, has just been on my mind in recent weeks. I don't think that you need to be a religious person to be a moral person. There are certainly plenty of non-religious moral principles and standards that one can abide by. You need not appeal to any religious text or any god to be a good person. I don't think that religion makes you a good person. I don't think that not being a religious person, even atheist, makes you a bad person. But it seems like religion has an advantage when it comes to the teaching and emphasis of morality. First of all, let's acknowledge that morality has kind of a religious connotation to it, doesn't it? Off the top of my head, I can't recall the difference between ethics and morality, but morality is sort of a religious term almost, and ethics is more of a secular, non-religious way of saying not the same thing, but similar things. And it just seems like religion, it just seems like making you a good person is more important to religious people than it is to secular humanists. Not that being a good person isn't important to secular humanists. I've said before that liberals, at least, tend to be very concerned with empathy and compassion and treating everyone with dignity and respect. The right says that morality is important to them, but they ignore half of the Bible's teachings, up to and including those of Jesus. It seems like religion places a greater emphasis on making sure that you're a good person, or their version of a good person, even though, again, many of them ignore the teachings that they espouse. I think the reason religion has an advantage when it comes to teaching and emphasizing morality is because it's more codified. There's an entire community of people who are kind of preaching this morality and keeping tabs on each other and reminding each other to be a good person and repeating these standards from whatever religious text they follow. And they're more unified about it. Obviously there's not just Christianity that's doing this, but it's like what I've said about diversity and how it diminishes the effectiveness of liberals and the left. I'm in favor of diversity, but the left represents such a diverse coalition of different races, religions, and genders and gender identities and all that it's hard to get them to agree on what's important, because everyone's got their own causes that thinks we need to get done. The right is much more unified, and it's much easier to be unified when most of them are white and Christian and agree that taxes are bad and Jesus is coming back and climate change is a hoax. They're on the same page, and that's harder for the left to do. We agree on a lot of things, but it's a cat herding exercise. And that, I think, is part of the reason that religious morality has an advantage over secular morality, because non-religious people who are spiritual or atheists or agnostics or whatever, there's such a diverse coalition of viewpoints about right and wrong and what is important or not important, and it's hard to get people together and agree on those things. As with diversity, I'm in favor of religious and spiritual pluralism, but I think that it diminishes our effectiveness as far as raising moral children who do the right thing and know right from wrong and treat each other with dignity and respect, and having that sense of importance, that it's important to be a good person and to treat each other with dignity and respect. For example, I did a previous video about whether or not atheists have any reason to believe that it's a good thing to love your enemies and forgive those who trespass against you. That is a religious principle that I agree with, but it doesn't seem like there's any logical reason for atheists to believe that. Religious people believe that because their religions tell them to. I believe it because I'm spiritual enough to think that that's the right thing to do. I guess logically I think that the world would be a better place. I guess logically I think that that would make the world a better place. If we're going by like Kant's categorical imperative and acting the way in which we think everyone should act, I think the world would be a better place if we loved our enemies and forgave those who trespass against us. I don't have kids, I don't want kids, but if I had them, I would take them to like a universalist Unitarian church, because I do want that drilled into them, that being a good person and treating each other with dignity and respect and empathy and compassion, that is important. I want that stressed to the younger generations. And I don't think that secular humanists and the left do as good a job of that as religious people and the right do. And I think that's bad. I think about a future of adults who were not raised to believe that those things are important. I think that's a backward step. I know that in some Asian countries there's actually classes on ethics and morality and etiquette and treating everyone right and stuff like that, and that's a kind of thing that I would like to see in America, except that again we disagree on what right and wrong are. We disagree on what's important, and especially on the left, we very much don't want other people telling us or telling our kids a version of right and wrong that we don't agree with. But the thing is, I feel like there is a lot that we do agree with, or that the vast majority of us agree on, even the right and the left. I feel like there is more common ground there than we usually think there is. And I think that should be taught. I think we should teach compassion and empathy. Anyway, that's enough rambling for now. Tell me what you think. Do you think that religion has an advantage over secular morality? Do you have kids? And if so, how are you emphasizing the importance of being a good person to them? How are you making sure that they treat other people with dignity and respect and have a bedrock of principles to build their morality on? Do you think that the diminishing influence of religion is an all-around good thing, or do you think we're going to miss it in some ways? Thanks very much for joining me for this conversation. If you liked it, please hit like and subscribe. Give me your thoughts below. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. It's great to have you here. I hope that you'll subscribe and join me for future conversations, and check out my previous videos for more. If you're a current subscriber, welcome back. It's wonderful to have you joining me again. Thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you. Until next time, take care, everyone.